Alright, part 2 will be about building with blocks and using the build tools. There's a lot of information that I'm going to go over, so at parts I'm going to be talking pretty fast to save time. So sorry if you don't get everything, but there's a lot of stuff to cover. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at the blocks menu. Okay, this is where you go to start building. You have to choose one of these to start working with. I'll be talking about these first, and later I'll talk about these. Now, for each shape of block, there are 3 sizes on the menu, but we only need one because we can scale it however we want with a scale tool. So I'll erase these because, well, when I'm building, I'll almost always only use 1x1s, like this, and I'll resize them later. So let me just build, I'll build a seesaw just as an example. So, scale tool to change sizes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7. The way the cubes stretch out is really simple. You just drag any side you want to make bigger or smaller. The cylinders are a little bit different. You drag in between 2 of the sides because the cylinders will always be round, perfect circles. Alright, wedges. Wedges are also different. If you wanted to make it taller, like taller this way, then you would grab it right there and you would just pull it up. It's not only increasing the size, but it's also changing the angle. When you're building a tower or anything, sometimes it helps to group select and copy. So this is 1 brick. Then I would copy. So after you create 1 row of your building, then you can copy it. You hold in the A button and drag, and then use a copy tool, and there. Oops. So you can easily make towers. Okay, now I'll talk about conveyor belts. There are 2 speeds. There's the slow conveyor belt, or normal conveyor belt, and the fast conveyor belt. The fast conveyor belt is about twice as fast as the slow one. There are also wedges. So you can create any angle. You can create horizontal, or you can create, if you stretch this out, it's very near horizontal. And then you can change the angle depending on how big this wedge is sized. And if you wanted it to go downhill, you would just flip it like that, and then instead of on an incline, it's going downhill. And if you wanted to create a vertical conveyor belt, you would just turn a flat one sideways like that. Now, conveyor belts don't really work how you might think. They are not actually gripping objects from the bottom. This movement is just animation. See, imagine a conveyor belt as just a normal wooden block with a push block above it. See, they work about the same. Here's some more examples. If you had a tall block on a conveyor belt, if you had this in real life, what would happen is the bottom would pull this way and this big block will fall backwards. But in this game, since the force is coming from everywhere, and the only thing touching this is the conveyor belt, and imagine that this is not moving, then it falls forwards. Imagine this as just a wooden surface. So another example would be, in real life, if you had an ice block and a wooden block, the wooden block would be faster because the conveyor belt would grip it more. But you don't, in this game, if it grips more, it just goes slower because it's not moving. The ice will be slowed down less by the non-moving floor. So, yeah. One last thing about conveyor belts. No matter what size of object they're pulling, it will pull the object the same speed. So if I was trying to lift a 1x1 block and a 5x5 block, they would lift at the same speed. To lift any object, you need either 2 slow conveyor belts or 1 fast conveyor belt. It should lift at the same pace. Yeah. For my labyrinth levels, the lifting doors would be either one fast conveyor belt pulling them up, or they would be 2 fast conveyor belts if I wanted to be opening fast. Here, I'll build something real quick and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, here's a door and these are all fast conveyor belts. So as soon as it hits this first row, it has the force of 7 fast conveyor belts pulling it. And then after it gets up here, all of them are pulling it. So it should open really fast. Yeah, see how fast that was? Okay, now for push blocks. You probably already know how these work, but I'll list some facts to help you understand them. First, a small push block gives the same amount of power as a big push block. It has the same acceleration and power. See, this one, they were accelerating at the same rate, but as soon as this one hit the ground, then it stopped. This one was constantly being accelerated at the same rate, but it was accelerated over a longer time, so it got, in the end it had more speed, so it got a little bit farther. Okay, 2. Well, with push blocks, the size of the block that you're moving matters. So 1x1s are easily lifted by push blocks. The maximum size that will be able to be lifted by 1 push block is 6 cubes. So like this 1x2x3 block, it's lifted but slowly. Okay. Number 3, an object doesn't have to be necessarily inside a push block to be lifted up. Okay, see? So those, that's a pretty good gap and it still is moving. So they don't have to be inside the push block to be affected by it. Okay, I'm going to make a strong push block moving upwards. What you do is you need 3 push blocks and you group select 2, and then after you group select you can put them inside of another push block. So this is about 8 push blocks, so it should lift, and it can lift something much heavier now. It's really powerful. In my Machine Gun 2, click here to see Machine Gun 2, I use really long push blocks inside of each other. In Machine Gun 1 I did this. The way it works is, when it's right here, it has 1 push block acting on it. When it's in between these 2, both of them are acting on it. And when it's right on this one, then all 3 of these. So it has a maximum of 3 push blocks acting on it at one time onto point multipliers. Point blocks are used in levels with rules and scoring system, but I use them in levels without rules as colors. Because you can also place these inside of other objects. So if I did that, then that block looks red. A good example of me using color is in Labyrinth 4. Click here. I use the ×2 multiplier in the beginning to make the animals or the characters look green. So also, just like the push blocks, you can group select and combine selecting glitch. If you do it enough, it makes it so bright that you can't even see the ×2 in it. Anyways, I think that's everything. So you might have to rewatch some parts because I talked about so much stuff, but hopefully you got it. Thanks for watching.